The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome. This is TV1 News. I'm Mary Silla Kelaton.
And I'm Tracy Pa. Join me later in the sports segment.
In this edition, MP protected by supporters from being filmed. Employer contribution to superfunds need to be increased. And SP Sports Awards finalist named. Media personnel were today restricted from taking pictures of the member for Gorka, Aya Tambua, at the Waigani District Courthouse.
Angry supporters of Tambua aggressively demanded journalists not to take pictures as they acted as shield against the cameras and took him to his awaiting car after his matter was heard in court this morning. Tambua, who has been charged with 26 offences relating to alleged sexual offending against children and family members, sought orders from the same court in April to bar the media from reporting this matter. District Court Magistrate Paul Purini refused the application back then, underscoring the importance of the media in informing the public about matters of interest. While the direction from the court is clear on this, the supporters had their way today, doing everything to protect their member from being filmed. Aya Tambua appeared at the Waigani Committal Court this morning for his second mention, but the matter was further adjourned to July 9th, again for the same reason of the police not preparing the end brief on time. The police prosecutor made an application for a 2-month adjournment because the police needed more time to compile evidence since the complainant resides overseas. Magistrate Nee, in granting the adjournment, also questioned the residency of the complainant. He said the complainant must be in PNG because the law says the complainant must read and understand his or her own statement. However, in the interest of justice and fairness, he granted the 2-month adjournment. The magistrate then warned the prosecutor if the evidence is not completed in time, the chances of striking out the matter is an option the court will take. Meanwhile, Tambua was arrested on Monday, 4th March 2024 and was released on a 10,000 kina bail on the night of his arrest. He appeared today for his second mention. Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
Employers' contributions to the National Superannuation Fund needs to be increased. NASFund Chief Executive Officer Rajiv Sharma outlined that this was one of the topics discussed during today's CEO's breakfast in Leh, Murbe Province.
The current employer's contribution to the National Superannuation Fund sits at 8.4%. This has not been revised since 2008. NASFund Chief Executive Officer Rajiv Sharma said this was on the agenda during the CEO's breakfast in Leh this morning.
If you look at Australia, employer contribution in Australia is going to be 11.5% from 1st of July. And in Australia, not only that, you have 11.5% contribution. Even if you don't have any contribution, government pays you pension. So in Papua New Guinea, we all need to make our own arrangements for our retirement funds. So it is important that 8.4% is increased. So there are a lot of companies now in Port Moresby, they have started contributing 10%.
Apart from suggesting to Leh-based companies that they increase their employer contributions to 10%, NASFund touched on the member voluntary contribution, which is a mandatory 6%. Employees can increase their contributions up to 15%.
Longevity is improving. It means everyone is going to live longer. Those who are young, once they reach the retirement of age of 60, they will find that they need to leave. They will be living next 10 to 15 years. So they need money to retire when they finish their gainful employment.
The other main points discussed during the CEO breakfast were for all employers to contribute, excluding those with less than 15 employees, and the issues of incorrect membership details. The incorrect information might include putting the wrong date of birth, leaving the beneficiary section blank, or writing down email addresses or phone numbers that are not working. This makes it difficult for NASFund to engage with these members. The heads of companies were asked to assist NASFund by putting in the correct data. Kaukidu Jr., TV1 News.
3 new judges and the acting Solicitor General Advertisements, all appointed by the Judiciary and Legal Service Commission in February, were officially sworn in by the Governor-General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai at the Government House today. JLSC, in its meeting in the Mbongo district in February, appointed 5 new judges to the National and Supreme Court benches, but only 3 were sworn in today. Among them is PNG National Justice Laura Wawun Kuvi.
The inclusion of the 5 new judges, 2 yet to be sworn in, now brings the total number of judges at the National and Supreme Court to 45. The judges sworn in today include Justice Karen Kamodi, Justice Stephen Patrick Coates, and Justice Laura Wawun Kuvi. The acting Solicitor General Eva Gaeta was also sworn in and will act in this role for 3 months before a substantive appointment is made. Chief Justice Segib Salika welcomed the trio to the bench.
As we increase the number of judges, the judges will attend to the backlog of cases that are currently burdening us at the moment.
He also thanked the government for the reforms that has seen the increase in the ceiling of the number of judges and other reforms that are on foot, including the inclusion of Court of Appeals.
Parliament has made 2 readings so far in relation to the constitutional amendments to create a separate Supreme Court, a separate Court of Appeal, and a separate National Court. Judges to be appointed if the Parliament passes that law.
Once a Court of Appeal is included, judges will also be segregated and will see judges being dedicated to the different courts instead of the same judges doing both National and Supreme Court. Attorney General Pilar Niningi also shared in the joy of having more judges join the bench and promised to do his part in driving legislative changes to improve the court system of PNG.
As to the restructure of the court, and I believe this coming session, the requirement is that they adjourn for 2 months, and that has already lapsed. So opportunity to present, I will present to Parliament, and I believe with the indications that we will get through.
The 5 recent appointments comprised 4 expatriates from the Australian Federal High Court and 1 national judge in Laura Wawun Kuvi.
I was a state prosecutor with the Office of the Public Prosecutor for 10 years. And then, as I said, I went to the Department of Justice in the Office of the State Solicitor. And then I got appointed as a magistrate. And as a magistrate, I then got appointed as acting judge. And after the term expired, I went back to being a magistrate, and now I've received a substantive appointment.
Kuvi, who has more than 20 years of lawyering under her belt, looks forward to serving the country and its people. Ruth Rungula, TV1 News.
Chief Justice Segib Salika, in providing an update about the progress of the new courthouse complex, indicated that the buildings are complete and should start moving in 2 weeks' time. The opening will be held in the last quarter of 2024 as they await confirmation from high-profile guests, including King Charles III, who has already been sent an invite for the opening.
Hopefully His Majesty will be in our area, in our region, in the final quarter of this year. He will be, I hope he comes for or is available and well enough to travel to CHOGM meeting in Samoa in October. So if he does come for that meeting, then we will try and get him over here at that time.
The Madang National Court has sentenced former Madang MP Nixon Duban to 5 years imprisonment and former Madang District Treasurer Helen Kanimba to 3 years imprisonment for misappropriating Modankina to belong to Yagam Rural Hospital. Presiding Judge Justice David Kennings convicted Duban and Kanimba on Friday, May 3, 2024, on one count of misappropriation under Section 38 3A 1A misappropriation of property of the Criminal Code. The court found that between March and April 2013, Duban, who was member for Madang Open, and Kanimba, who was Madang District Treasurer, misappropriated the 600,000 kina of public monies intended for infrastructure and medical equipment project for the hospital. The court found that the money was used for its intended purpose. Justice Kennings convicted Duban to 5 years in prison time, subject to conditions that he pay Agam Rural Hospital 180,000 kina to be applied for infrastructure and medical equipment purposes by November 2024. Kanimba will serve 3 years in prison, also subject to conditions that she pay Yagam Rural Hospital 20,000 kina to be applied for infrastructure and medical equipment by November 4, 2024. Both must keep the peace and be of good behavior until May 3, 2029. Prime Minister James Marape and President Ismail Toroama have agreed to endorse the engagement of a working moderator to support the two governments relating to the ratification and post-referendum issues. The leaders resolved this during the Joint Supervisory Board meeting in Port Moresby on Wednesday.
Prime Minister James Marape and the Autonomous Region of Bougainville President Ismail Toroama have resolved to work together to develop the moderator's mandate and terms of reference within a week of the signing of this Joint Supervisory Board meeting through joint technical team of both governments. The leaders also discussed key issues relating to the ratification and post-referendum issues. The engagement of a working moderator is to support the two governments in resolving outstanding issues relating to the sessional order and related matters to bring the results of the 2019 referendum for independence into the national parliament, facilitate and provide oversight in preparing the joint consultation report, and assist the bipartisan committee in joint awareness messaging to members of the 11th National Parliament. On the issue of fisheries revenue sharing arrangements, the leaders acknowledged that this agenda has been a legacy agenda of the JSB and directed the ministers responsible in both governments to further discuss and conclude this agenda. The ministers, chief secretaries, and responsible agencies will work on a mechanism to conclude the fisheries revenue sharing arrangement. On the agenda on financial issues, including the Prime Minister's commitment and the Restoration and Development Grant, the leaders resolved that the funding support under the Prime Minister's Commitment Program will be discontinued post-2024 and that these funds be used as a trade-off to retire outstanding RDG areas owed to the Bougainville. On the agenda on BCL shares, the leaders acknowledge the ongoing delay in the transfer of shares to the ABG, due largely to considerations on cost implications of the stamp duty tax required for the transfer of shares. The national government committed to have the stamp duty tax of 1 million kina settled by Kumul Mineral Holdings Limited and that the BCL shares certificate be handed over to the ABG by the end of May 2024. The leaders reaffirmed their joint commitment to the Bougainville Peace Agreement and to the Melanesian spirit of consensus in ensuring that a peaceful process is followed through as both governments prepare to walk through the final leg of its political journey. The leaders also agreed that the next meeting of the joint supervisory body will be in August. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
You're watching TVWAN News. IMF review completed and NSLS post record profits. We'll have those stories and more when we come back.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo and milk taste and added nutrients, Milo and milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
Open it. Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young plana lapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
All Mama Flame is not all same.
Me say you seen flame flower long one him. Me say me Kim Kai belong family belong me. You go more yet.
Man belong me save like him flower balls belong me what them kawa na spring onion. All pikinini belong me save like him to mas pineapple donut me save walk him lo house. They make kumu mix him what them cow na karamapim long flower.
Tasty hash browns.
Time is kelly one time wala harpela kai. Me save kissing more kai long all get a toya mi tromoy one time flame flower.
You enough making more one time flame flower.
The Hunters out of the tackle, gets the home foot away, Nemo's down the touchline, cuts back in, he's going to score! The Hunters go bang bang! Yeah, they go down the short side and find Komati, deft little kick back on the inside, Wobbles going to score!
Comes back to Fartilli, who steps straight, flick pass away, got support on the outside in Hawkins, scores! Oh, shut the gates, Hunters over!
After the success of her first restaurant in Goa, Sarah Todd is doing it all again.
Oh my God, it's happening.
This time in Mumbai.
It's pretty hectic here, people everywhere.
New location.
Exciting, but crazy at the same time.
And a whole new set of problems.
I've got some bad news.
There's so much pressure coming from every angle. Why am I doing it again?
My second restaurant in India. A brand new series coming soon on Outdoor.
Welcome back. The International Monetary Fund staff and the Papua New Guinean authorities have reached a staff-level agreement on the completion of the second reviews of the Extended Credit Facility and Extended Fund Facility. Subject to approval by the Executive Board of the IMF, the completion of these reviews will allow for the disbursement of approximately 486 million kina in financing, bringing the total IMF financial support disbursed thus far under the arrangements to 1.2 billion kina.
Papua New Guinea's economic outlook remains positive, with growth expected to increase in 2024 to 4.6% from 2.9% in 2023, supported by the resumption of activities at the Porgera gold mine and by favorable commodity prices. According to the review by IMF, high-frequency economic indicators point to a limited macroeconomic impact of the January 2024 social unrest, with inflation expected to normalize towards its historical average of around 5%. The IMF is also pleased that performance under the fund-supported programs has been satisfactory, with the government of Papua New Guinea making strides in implementing its structural reform agenda focused on advancing budget repair, modernizing central banking, and improving governance. All quantitative performance criteria and indicative targets set for end of December 2023 were met. Most structural benchmarks due by the end of March 2024 were implemented. The IMF further acknowledged the government's commitment to reform is starting to bear fruit, with notable positive outcomes, including lower fiscal deficit, which will strengthen public debt sustainability. IMF has assured the government that they will continue to work closely with the Papua New Guinea authorities and stand ready to help them not only through financing and policy advice, but also through technical assistance, including in the lead-up to the forthcoming negotiation of access to the Resilience and Sustainability Facility. The IMF staff visited Port Moresby during April 25th to May 8, 2024 to review progress under the authorities' on-ground economic reforms supported by the IMF Extended Credit Facility and Extended Fund Facility arrangements of about $918 million or 3.5 billion kina. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Madang Provincial Administrator Frank Lau wants to know why it has taken so long for Provincial Treasury to release the cash fund certificates, as this, according to him, is hindering service delivery.
Madang Provincial Administrator Frank Lau is asking why the Provincial Finance Manager has not released the Cash Fund Certificate or CFC so that current budgets can be utilized.
But if the Department of Finance, Public Finance Office, and if they don't cooperate, then these things will slow down. And the meeting is bigger than all of us. Leaders must come to work. Think of the small people who are dying out there. Provide the necessary aid and service they need.
Mr. Lau clarified that it is not under the administration's justification nor the governor's responsibility to release CFCs. This is done by the Department of Finance and ensured by the Provincial Treasury.
The court policies that are in place, they don't affect the provincial government or provincial administration from operating. There's nothing stopping us from running our PSIB, DSIB, discretion, non-discretion funds. There's nothing stopping us from facilitating payments in the province.
Commenting on this court case, he assured the administration and the people of Madang that he has a duty to perform whilst investigations continue.
Administration is normal, we're functioning well. Court doesn't affect the running of the administration. It doesn't affect the running of the provincial government in any way or the administration in any way.
Lau admits that there is so much yet to be done and he is doing his best to ensure that priorities such as the development plan is launched among others. And he is appealing to the public servants to return to work in order to deliver services to Madang province.
Also, I would like to ask the public servants in the province, I would like to make it clear to you people that the court battle or whatever is going on doesn't affect you. Please stay in your workstations and do the job that you are paid to do. Don't use all these court and all this excuse to have free holidays. You have been warned.
Tracy Pa, TVWAN News.
Number One Savings and Loan Society has released its financial results for the fiscal year 2023, revealing a significant 51% increase in net profit to 2.88 million kina. This growth has boosted the company's net assets to 1,648 million kina.
The Society's annual report highlights several growth areas, including a 19% rise in members' savings, which now totals 116 million kina, and a 23% increase in the loan book, reaching 59.7 million kina. Membership also grew by 24%, bringing the total to 41,946, with female membership reaching 43% of the total. CEO John Solok credited the success to the support from the board of Number One Super, stakeholders and members, emphasizing the Society's commitment to innovation and continuous improvement. He said their focus on innovation has been key in maintaining their leading position in the financial services sector in PNG. When asked what percentage increase in net profit the Number One Savings and Loan Society reported for the fiscal year 2023, compared to the previous year, he had this to say.
Last year, 2023, we achieved 24%. Okay, and if you backtrack to 2019, when we commenced the initiative of being a bit more outbound, a bit more visible, and started building our business development capacity and capability, including investing in setting up our team in key regional hubs. We have commenced starting at that time when we locked in within our strategy to at least achieve a minimum 20% year-on-year growth.
He also spoke on what future enhancements Number One Savings and Loan Society plan to implement in the 2024 financial year.
One of the things that we've demonstrated in the last few years has been our customer service standard. But having said that, we have a quality customer service. Market dynamics change, expectation of members change. We have an emerging young membership base that's growing. So we want to remain relevant.
For 2024, Number One Savings and Loan Society plans to expand its product offerings, enhance its digital banking capabilities, and strengthen partnerships with local communities and businesses. Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
The Department of Information and Communication Technology, in partnership with the University of Technology, are hosting the inaugural PNG Domain Name System Forum in Port Moresby. Minister for ICT Timothy Masiu said the forum represents a critical platform for fostering collaboration, innovation and growth in the realm of internet infrastructure within Papua New Guinea. The week-long workshop, which began on Monday, ends Friday, May 10.
The inaugural PNG Domain Name System Forum in Port Moresby concludes Friday, May the 10th. The Department of Information and Communication Technology, in partnership with the University of Technology, are jointly hosting the meet. In his keynote address, Minister for ICT Timothy Masiu said that the forum represents a critical platform for fostering collaboration, innovation, and growth in the realm of internet infrastructure within PNG.
We seek to enhance awareness and understanding of DNS-related issues, promote best practices in DNS management, and explore avenues for the strengthening of our national critical DNS infrastructure. Specifically, we aim to use this opportunity to update the .pg DNS policy with our co-host Unitech as our facilitator.
The objective of this forum is multifaceted. It is to address DNS governance, security, and accessibility. According to the Internet Society, in terms of internet use, 32% of individuals in PNG use the internet, ranking PNG 16th in the region. The Oceania regional average is 59%. In the area of internet resilience, PNG is ranked 5th in the region with a score of 29%.
The regional average is 45%. In terms of transit provider diversity, PNG scores 1 out of 5, and the same goes for retail ISP diversity. Another is that PNG only has one internet exchange point operator market.
All the players in the industry are here together. We've had a wonderful last 3 days of going into the technical side of the domain name service, domain name system, and how it should be secured at the operational level.
Unitec Vice Chancellor Dr. Ora Renagi shared that the university continues to partner with stakeholders of the DNS in PNG to incorporate the advanced technology to improve livelihood.
I have a very strong focus on making sure that the technology, the science that I am teaching is translating to impact the lives of people.
The forum provides a platform for stakeholders like co-host Unitec, key partners, Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, the Asia Pacific Network Information Center, and members of the Internet community like Digicel PNG Limited. Jasmine Erojak, TVWAN News.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Technology, Dr. Ora Renagi, says the engineering programs offered at the Lae University of Technology are Australian standard. He confirmed that he is focusing on building infrastructure and the university's curriculum to international standards.
And so any resources that are required to improve that standard of living, that is my desire, that is my drive. So I'm happy to continue to host the .DNS. I know that our international partners are advising us to keep it at the university as an autonomous body and the institution which is free of impact from other influence from other sources.
Market vendors from Kimber Town have received essential tools to enhance their trade, thanks to a joint effort by UN Women and the provincial administration. The presentation saw 28 gas stoves and 11 sewing machines being distributed to women vendors, equipping them with the necessary resources to thrive in the newly developed Kimber market.
The initiative is part of a broader training program aimed at preparing vendors for the operational demands of the modern market facility. Despite having to wait a year before receiving the materials, Community Development Executive Manager Philbert Vitata highlighted the collaborative effort with the UN Women in establishing the Kimber Market Vendors Growers Association, emphasizing the focus on women's role in economic recovery and sustainable market development. The provincial administration facilitated the distribution, underlining the government's commitment to closely working with donor partners like UN Women. Provincial Administrator Leo Mapmani acknowledged the critical support from these partnerships, which are seen as pivotal in the success of community projects.
Through this market program, UN Women came to establish the office.
Vince Marinduo, president of the Kimber Market Vendors Association, detailed the selection process of the recipients, who were chosen based on their participation in the UN Women conducted training sessions and their expressed interest in utilizing their new skills for market supply. The event marked a step forward in empowering local vendors, particularly women, to use their skills in contributing effectively to the local economy, thereby fostering community development and resilience. Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
And now the finance news. The Kina closed 2 points lower at $0.2617 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our Kina was buying $0.2542, $0.3835 Australian dollars, $0.2290 euro, and 39.26 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, cocoa, and copper closed higher, while gold, palm oil, crude oil, and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, ASX closed lower, and all ordinaries closed lower as well. This is TV1 News. We'll have news making headlines overseas when we return. Stay tuned.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magical cuddle, get up and big smile on face. Time for give chicken a great kumutu. Sip, sip, da moo moo, yes, magic on you.
Magic, the taste PNG loves.
Attention rice lovers! We are giving away 300,000 kina worth of scale school money. 1,000 kina could be yours. With 300 winners and 4 fortnightly draws, your chances are higher than ever. Buy any 1 kg to 20 kg scale or ori rice, cut out the grown for PNG stamp, put it in an envelope with your name, contact details, and drop it in an entry box at selected outlets. Promotion ends March 29, 2024. Hurry and win big with scale and ori rice. Follow us on social media for more details. Terms and conditions apply.
Hardware House is more than just a store. It is where quality meets affordability, where culture is proudly celebrated. Spanning 9 provinces, we pride ourselves in offering top-notch customer support and services. We're more than just a store. We're more than a brand. We are Hardware House.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Laga, Bougainville.
I need you. We're gonna destroy their whole nuclear program.
The CIA is targeting Iranian nuclear facilities.
Your cover's blood. Stretch and point.
An old CIA base in Kandahar province.
The distance is not the main issue. It's what's in between.
Tell me what's truly going on. This is my life in your hands.
No one is coming to rescue us.
Kandahar premieres Saturday, May 11th, 9 p.m. on HBO.
Thanks for staying with us. Fiji's former Prime Minister Frank Bainimarama has been sentenced to 1 year in jail after being convicted of perverting the course of justice. Bainimarama, who led Fiji for 16 years, faced the country's High Court in the capital Suva on Thursday. The conviction relates to Bainimarama's role in influencing a police investigation into funding of the region's biggest university, the University of the South Pacific, in 2019. The courtroom went silent after the sentence was read out, with Bainimarama later being led out in handcuffs, surrounded by police, and into a waiting police van. He did not react after the sentence was read out, but his wife, who was sitting by his side, broke down in tears. Bainimarama's legal team indicated it will appeal after its attempt to have the former Prime Minister receive bail was rejected by the High Court. The parents of 2 Perth brothers killed while on a surfing trip in Mexico say their hearts have been broken as they prepare to bring them home. Jake and Caleb Robinson were shot along with their friend Carter Road in what authorities say was a robbery gone wrong. Speaking from Caleb's adopted home in the U.S., the couple painted a picture of their sons as much-loved friends to many.
Diego Beach, their son once loved, in the city where he once lived. Martin and Deborah Robinson now face a future without their 2 boys.
It is with heavy hearts that we share the news that Callum Jake have been murdered. Our hearts are broken and the world has become a darker place for us.
Beloved sons Callum and Jake Robinson were on a surf trip in northern Mexico when they were shot dead with American friend Carter Road. Their bodies were found dumped in a well in a remote area near Santo Tomas.
They were young men enjoying their passion of surfing together.
Younger brother Jake is being remembered as a gentle and compassionate soul. He was a talented surfer who loved being outdoors when he wasn't practicing medicine. Martin Robinson thanked friends and family, along with Australia's ambassador to Mexico.
Her and her team have been unbelievable in supporting us along this difficult journey over the last few days.
It is every parent's worst nightmare to lose a child, to lose these two brothers in such a manner at this time.
A Mexican national known as El Quecas will appear in court tomorrow and is expected to be charged with the 3 killings. Given the nature of these murders and where they occurred, questions over possible cartel involvement remain. The State Attorney General says there is no evidence that organised crime played a role, but the surfing community here and many in Australia will be watching closely to ensure that justice is done.
Now it's time to free them punish of their face prints and ocean world instead. Please, live bigger, shine brighter, and love harder in their memory.
Despite the challenges faced by journalists in the last 16 years, they still persevered and updated the public on the situation and what is happening in Fiji and around the world. Fiji Attorney General Siromi Turaga made these comments while speaking at the Fijian Media Association World Press Freedom Day 2024 in Suva on Wednesday. Turaga said press freedom is a fundamental human right essential in upholding democracy, fostering transparency, and promoting accountability. The Attorney General says many journalists have been victims themselves in trying to break stories and are facing intimidation, threats, and also verbal physical violence to pursue truth and justice. He said the repealing of the Media Act last year signifies the positive steps towards media freedom in Fiji. Hundreds of residents are lobbying against a housing proposal they say could threaten a koala habitat west of Brisbane. The Springview development has been approved by Ipswich Council and would see nearly 2,000 homes constructed.
Paradise on the edge of suburbia. The Waggaroo Forest stretches for hundreds of hectares in Ipswich. It's home to an estimated 200 koalas.
You get all sorts of things. Kookaburras wake you up. They're the first things to call out in the morning. And from time to time we see the odd koala.
But a recent development proposal is threatening to change that. Developer Stockland wants to clear native bushland to make way for 1,800 homes, a childcare centre and a local sports park. Their proposal was endorsed by Ipswich City Council in March. More than 200 residents have objected.
People in Brookwater will wake up one morning and half of the hillside on the other side of the creek from there will be gone. And that's just total vandalism.
Within 20 years, the population of Ipswich is expected to double and demand for housing will only grow.
We have a lot of homelessness, so all 3 levels of government need to balance those things to make sure that we get a great outcome for the community.
Stockland says it's still waiting for federal government sign-off, but says the development is subject to robust environmental approvals. Conservationists disagree.
Absolutely, we are concerned that in the rush to build housing, we're not protecting these important remnant forests in southeast Queensland. We also know that we can build the houses we need and not destroy this habitat.
One local is so concerned he's written to naturalist Sir David Attenborough asking for help. He's still waiting for a reply.
What I would want to do is to get him up into this area and stand where I'm standing now.
The owners of the Whyalla Steelworks have confirmed the plant's blast furnace has been damaged during attempts to restart it. The latest problem at the troubled site means the pay of more than 1,000 workers could be reduced for a lengthy period. The State Energy Minister says the government is gravely concerned and is sending its own experts to the Upper Spencer Gulf to see what is happening.
Heart of South Australia's Steel City is offline, and for nearly 2 months, experts have been working to restart Whyalla's blast furnace, which has now been damaged during that process.
This latest development has raised with the government grave concerns. We've reached out, we've said, look, if there's any international expert, any assistance that they need for us to fly in and assist them, we'll do it.
In a statement, GFG Alliance said the furnace shell was damaged during recovery work and warned the repairs may delay the anticipated restart of steel making, which was expected within weeks. The SA government is now sending its own independent experts to the plant.
To make sure that we get the answers that we want. This is a very, very important part of kit. We're not ready to transition to an electric arc furnace. This blast furnace needs to survive.
The furnace is nearly 60 years old. Its life has been extended previously by costly relining, a process which has happened 3 times, most recently in 2004. On Friday, before the damage occurred, ABC News asked GFG about the state it's now in.
Furnace condition is surprisingly good. We've had 2 external reports done in the time that I've been there, and both reports are quite positive in the furnace condition.
But with the site now facing a longer shutdown, the impact on workers may be significant. 1,100 people are directly employed at the steelworks, and many of them have already had their shifts and pay reduced.
The question for us is to make sure that regular maintenance has been done, to make sure that the money that needs to be invested has been invested.
We had the blast furnace shut down essentially in recent weeks, and that puts thousands of jobs at potential risk.
With no local steel rolling off the line, GFG says it's importing billet so it can keep making some products to meet its customers' orders.
That ends the news segment. Over to you, Tracy.
Thank you, Mary. HSP Sports Awards finalists and hunters to maintain performance. All these stories after the break.
This honking is doing your head in. Why don't you go and put a stop to it? Oh, maybe not.
Bing bang bing. Ding ding bang. Bum bum.
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Henow, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always True Guy. True Guy, true inspiration through generations.
The PNG LNG project has a positive and long-lasting impact on the whole country. Revenue is delivered through 5 streams. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to IRC, while development levy and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
Get ready for more! Digicell's new Big Plus Supersized Data Plans! Now with more options, more plans, and more time. Choose from our daily plans, now valid for 24 hours, weekly plans, or even a monthly plan from our suite of Big Plus Supersized Data Plans. All with more data and starting from as low as 1 kina. Yes, you heard right. What's up, Asol? Yes, yeah! Only Digicell's Big Plus Supersized Data Plans gives you more. Activate today on My Digicell app or dial *675# only with Digicell.
finish! Wow!
Welcome back. 31 finalists of the prestigious 2024 Haspi Sports Awards have been announced today in Port Moresby. The finalists were selected from over 200 nominees. Chairman of Haspi Sports Awards selection panel, Warwick Vele, was pleased with participation when unveiling the final 31. Vele said it was very pleasing to see a significant jump in the number of nominations with a good mix of online and paper-based nominations. He said there were a couple of categories where he would like to see more nominations, especially with the junior athletics, as he encourages Sports Federation to continue highlighting the juniors coming through. Vele encourages community sports initiative and wants to see them get recognized at events like these for the work they put in developing sports at the community level. The 2024 Haspi Sports Awards is scheduled for 2nd July. 3 nominees in each of 11 categories have been selected. Winners will be announced on the awards night. The 8-time Olympic medal winner Liselle Jones from Australia will officiate at the 2024 Haspi Sports Awards on July 1st. Haspi Brewery Corporate Affairs Manager John Nilkari made this announcement in Port Moresby today at the launch of the Haspi Sports Awards finalists. The 2024 Haspi Sports Awards finalists were unveiled in Port Moresby today in a small yet exciting fashion. Following a massive win last Sunday in Townsville, the Haspi PNG Hunters are back home gearing up maintain that performance on home turf when they host Northern Pride this Saturday at the Santos National Football Stadium in Port Moresby. Haspi PNG Hunters head coach Paul Aiton attributed last weekend's win to better preparation and sticking to the game plan. He is expecting the same this Saturday.
The Haspi PNG Hunters will be looking to record their first back-to-back win on home turf this weekend. Haspi PNG Hunters head coach Paul Aiton said he is impressed with the performance of his men last weekend. He is happy that his side have understood the game plan and the brand of football they wanted to play as a team. Coach Aiton was also impressed with the discipline in their performance. He said in the last match, the errors and penalty count were reduced, which he says is a good progress for the team. He said reducing unnecessary errors and penalty and believing in the game plan is now the focus for this weekend's match.
We're individually prepared. I think we're understanding our system and processes a lot more in our team, and it's starting to show. And a big thing is also our errors and penalties. We've reduced that by quite a lot. It's been a real big focus for us. If we can hold the ball and give ourselves that much of a chance, well, they have to tackle us for that much more tackles, and that's hard to do against our boys. So a big focus on our errors and penalties. And yeah, just understanding our system and process a lot more and sticking to it, having faith in what we're doing. Don't stray away from what we're doing. Even when it seems like it's not working, it'll work. Just stay with it.
One of the better performers of the Hunters' 52-16 win over Blackhawks, Wallen Tauloi echoed similar sentiment. The Hunters' second rower was massive in the win against Blackhawks.
Just have faith in our attack, just trust the process, and everything falls behind. Yeah, that's about it.
The Hunters coach in the bid to keep the momentum rolling, confirmed that there will not be many changes in the lineup this weekend, except for halfback Jamie Mavoko, who suffered concussion and will not play this weekend's match following head injury assessment protocols. With Mavoko out for this match, Sakias Komati is a likely replacement. Rex Lita, TV1 Sports.
Nearing the end of this contract with the Sydney Roosters, veteran winger Daniel Tupohu has been linked with a potential move to another club.
Tupohu is a three-time premiership winner with the club and a stalwart of the club's backline since its premiership in 2013, 2018 and 2019. Tupohu has also had a big impact on the representative scene, with the winger managing 18 tests for Tonga and 10 games for the New South Wales Blues, recently appearing in the 2022 State of Origin series. As he continues to get older and the Roosters look to young players in the squad such as Billy Smith, Tupohu is without a contract for the season, with his current deal expiring at the end of 2024. Now, reports from French publication Les Independents have emerged that